need to have a talk, guys. We need to have a talk. You won't be able to buy a house. You won't be able to buy a house.
Why? Why?
If you are doing these things that I'm going to talk about, there's something that's brewing, something that is looking very ugly, a trend that we are seeing. My name is Orlando. Welcome to the channel, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button because this information will save you if you're trying to buy a home and you're sitting on the sidelines, like I suggested, waiting to get into your home, but you cannot. And I want to repeat, listen to me. You cannot do this if you're doing this huge thing. It says, as emergency savings drop and credit card debt rises, an ugly stew is brewing, warns advocate. Now, listen. Guys, really listen to this. I have been telling you guys, sit on the sidelines with a purpose.
It was true what he said.
Do not overpay. I've been giving you guys these tips of how to get into your first home, how to make you more financially sound, budgeting, and all this other stuff that I've been talking about. But listen, if you're gonna go against the basic rules, what you're going to need to purchase a home, you're gonna be out of luck. Now,
Orlando, what are you talking about?
well, a lot of you guys out there right now are spending so much money. You're taking money out of your emergency savings account to buy, little tiny things that you need.
Awkward. So awkward. Not
only are you taking money out of your emergency savings account, but you're adding more credit card debt. Oh no. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. We gotta be smarter than that, guys. I cannot have you pulling out credit card debt. Look, I've done videos about what the credit card companies are doing. They're offering you guys, listen to me, they're offering you guys easy credit access. You can go in and just type in, and voila, a $10,000 right there.
Easy green.
But what is the cost of that credit? Well, let's jump right into it. It says high inflation is leading to reduced savings and higher credit card debt. There are some size households may be reaching the tipping point under increased financial pressures. A new survey finds 39% of individuals surveyed in January said their emergency savings are less than they were last year. Meanwhile, 10% still have no cash set aside. The same findings as last year's survey. Come on, guys. Come on. Listen, we talked about this. What is the Fed going to do? Let's break this down. What is the Fed doing? The Fed right now is increasing interest rates. Those interest rates are supposed to dampen demand so that you can see home prices drop to get into your home. That does not mean that you need to go and spend more credit card debt so that you can get that new PS5 or you can get that new game or you can get your toy or whatever it is. That does not mean that, because the interest rates that they use to push up mortgage rates are the same interest rates that you're going to pay on credit cards. They are going up, and these credit card companies are laughing all the way to the bank because they're like, we're gonna give this easy credit. People are going to spend it, and then they're gonna be forced to pay minimum payments, guys. And that's what's happening. Your people are being forced.
Oh, I can't take my money out of my emergency savings account to pay off my credit card debt. Why would I do such a thing?
But then you're spending the credit card debt on ridiculous things that you don't need. Now, I get it. Some people may be in a situation where they're using credit card for things that they need. But to be honest with you, those individuals may not be ready to jump into the housing market. I'm talking to individuals. My audience that is looking to purchase a home. If you're trying to purchase a home, that means you had a down payment set aside. That means that you had an emergency savings account. That means that your debt was low. Now you're gonna mess that all up just because you're waiting? Don't do that, guys. Come on.
That he cannot do.
The result comes as a total debt increase by 2.4% to $16.9 trillion in the fourth quarter of last year. An ugly stew is brewing as people buckle underneath the pressure of inflation, especially if you don't have a lot of savings. Now listen to this, guys. You go out and you buy a steak, right? And let's say that steak used to cost $10, but since inflation is so high, now it's $25. Now, on top of that, you use a credit card to buy that steak. So you're now buying a $10 steak that is now $25, and now you're using debt that interest rates used to be, 16, 17%. Now they're 25%. Do you see where I'm going here? You bought an inflated product, your interest rates are now higher, and you're paying more for that item on top of that. So the ball of debt just continues to go up. Not only are you getting ate up by inflation, but the credit card debt at a higher interest rate is killing you also.
Stop it.
And then most people turn around and then take the money out of the emergency savings account and then use that to pay down the crazy credit card debt.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
Now, would I say that's a good idea? Well, yeah, I mean, you don't want to get charged continuously over and over and over on that credit card debt. But I would say, shouldn't you spend within your means before you got yourself into that trouble? Shouldn't you thought to yourself, this is my budget so that I don't have to use those credit cards on normal expenses, on luxury items that I didn't need? I would think so. Remember, your emergency savings account is not to pay down your credit card debt. That's not what your emergency savings fund is for. Your emergency savings fund is used to pay for things when an emergency happens. I know that sounds crazy. Orlando, what are you talking about? Don't do that. That's where we're getting into trouble. And listen, guys, this isn't a small issue. It says here, bank rate survey found 45% of millennials, 44% of Gen Xers, and 38% of Gen Zers have more credit card debt than money in savings. In comparison, just 25% of baby boomers said the same. This is not some small thing happening. And the point of this whole video is, why would you do this when you're trying to buy a home? Listen, I have talked about this over and over and over, guys, is that when prices are going down, when corrections and crash and the recession isn't good, who is going to condense credit? Who is going to make it a little bit harder for you to get that deal that you've been waiting on? Mortgages, banks, they're not going to have this available credit that is easily available previously when things were going great, when everything was happy. That's what I'm trying to say. So if they're not going to make it easier on you, then what do you have to make sure that you have together? You have to make sure your finances are together, your credit is together, the amount of down payment and a reserve, right? Some liquidity, that emergency savings account that we're talking about. If you have zero of that, and then you have a little down payment, your credit card debt is through the roof, what type of deal do you think you're gonna get when you're trying to go apply for a mortgage? For that home that you've been waiting on forever. No matter how much I talk and how much I bring this stuff up, there are going to be a group of individuals that will still do what they want to do as they can, right? That is whatever, right? You cannot be one of these people who allow your wants to take over. I'm not talking about needs. I'm talking about individuals who are going on vacation, people who are spending things, going out of their budget, and spending so much money that they're putting themselves in financial disaster. This is the reason why we're starting to see, yes, people spent less in the holidays, but where did they get all of that money from? Credit? Did they have that money in their pocket? Did they spend that money in cash? No, they didn't. Credit? And then when we look at the CPI numbers and look at inflation, one of the biggest things that we see is spending is happening still. And the question is where is all this spending and all this money coming from? Credit? Whoa, the spending is coming from individuals using credit to pay off those things and then using their emergency savings account to pay the credit card. Sometimes late, sometimes on time. But the point is they're using to buy the things that they want, not the things that they need.
Let me tell you something, folks. You can't fix stupid.
Because those individuals, I'm not talking about those. We're talking about individuals who want to buy a home. And this is something different, and you have to plan for this. This isn't something that's willy-nilly. And here's one more thing that I want to bring up. Let's take a look at this chart. Mortgages, no, not that bad. HELOCs, not that bad. Student loans, nobody ain't paying those, you know? And the reason why is because they're on hold, right? Auto loans, well, we talked about that. Look, it's getting a little further. Now look at credit cards, guys. Look at credit cards. And a lot of you guys are going to risk your home ownership on delinquent credit cards. Look, I told you, I'm telling you, don't let yourself fall into this hole of wanting things so bad that you use these credit cards that are super high. And we know what the Fed said. We're going to raise interest rates for slower and longer. So what does that mean? That means your 20, 22, 23% interest on your credit card, on your Citi, Chase, Amex, it's gonna go up. By the end of the year, it'll be close to 26, 27%. And will that be enough to stop you from buying things on that credit card? Because here's the deal. If you don't have the money already set aside for that item, you probably shouldn't buy it. So once again, you won't get all of your information from this one video. I need you to watch this video here. It will help you understand what's going on with the housing market, financial news, get into your first rental property. I promise you the information you get from that video will be gold. I will see you in the next one. Thanks.